Hello there, welcome to the introductory video for the Social Wall version 2 project. In this video we will discuss the social wall system in greater detail. So first, the problem the social wall aims to solve is the inability of users to display their images on large screens. Currently there's no efficient way also of dynamically modifying the images once they're being displayed. There are current alternatives that allow you to display images on the screen, a large screen. However, some of these alternatives are not cost effective. They have limited sources of images. They offer few customization features and offers a substantial setup process that the user has to go through before he can actually see his images. So the social wall system aims to create a mobile application that will allow users to easily display his images on a screen using a Chromecast device without hassle of setting up without a hassle setup process and without having the feature of dynamically changing the images on the screen. So here we have the project schedule. As you can see, the project is divided into 5 sprints, and under each sprint we have the main tasks that were accomplished during these sprints. Here we have the use case diagram of the project. There's only one user in the system, and that user can do 8 different functionalities in the system. So one of the user stories that was a big part of the social wall was to connect a Chromecast device. This user story allows the user to connect to any Chromecast device on the network and launch the receiver application on the Chromecast device. The select campaign user story allows the user to select a campaign. A campaign is nothing more than an album, and once the user has selected his campaign, the images inside the campaign can be displayed on the screen. So here we have the Connect to Chromecast use case. Essentially, the user selects the Connect to Chromecast button. The system then alerts the user on the devices that were discovered on the network. The user then selects the device, and the system will try to connect and launch the application on this device. The select campaign use case begins when the user selects a campaign from a list presented to the user. The system then will send a JSON message to the receiver application running on the Chromecast device. This message is received and parsed. The receiver identifies the type of the message, fetches any necessary data, and finally displays the data in an image slideshow format on the screen. So here we have the Connect to Chromecast sequence diagram. As you can see, the user first presses the Connect to Chromecast button. He is then prompted to pick a device. He selects the device, and the system will try to connect to that device. Here we have the select campaign sequence diagram. The system will try to select the campaign from the campaign list. The system then sends a JSON message to the receiver application on the Chromecast. The Chromecast receives this message, fetches any necessary data, formats that data, and finally displays it on the screen. For the system decomposition, there are 2 main architectures used: the server-client architecture and the model view controller architecture. To deploy the system, you do need a Mac computer running OS X or higher. You do need a Chromecast device, a high-definition screen, and for the software needed, you do need GitHub, the Mingo project management tool, Xcode, Connect SDK, Cordova, Sencha Touch, and the AngularJS frameworks. So the system does not currently store any persistent data. Since the system is completely dependent on the internet connection, any data needed by the system is retrieved from the web. For security and privacy, the receiver application on the Chromecast device is encrypted. It does use the SHA-1 hashing encryption to make sure any communication on the network cannot be easily sniffed by other users. And also it uses a base64 encoding method for authenticating the user when he tries to log into the system. Here we have the minimal class diagram for the receiver application run on the Chromecast. Here we have the minimal class diagram of the sender application, which is running on the iOS mobile device. Here we have the state machine of the carousel control object, the main control object that handles the image slideshow that's being displayed on the screen. So first, the object begins in the idle state. Once a user selects a campaign to view, he is automatically transitioned into the slideshow state and into the play state. If the user selects the pause, he is then sent to the paused state of the slideshow controller, and the user can alternate between these two states. Then we have the state machine for the campaign list controller, which is the main controller of the sender application. So once the user, first the user begins in the idle state, and once the user logs in successfully, he's in the authenticated state and in the device disconnected state, meaning that there is no device currently connected. Once the user connects to a device, he is in the device connected state, and when the receiver application is launched on the Chromecast, the system goes to the web app session connected state. And in any state, the user can log out and go back to the idle state. So here we have the main algorithm of the social wall system. So first, the user selects a campaign. Then the sender will send a JSON message to the receiver application. The receiver receives the JSON message from the sender. He identifies the type of the message. He fetches any necessary data and then displays this data on the screen. So for the test cases, we developed one sunny day and one rainy day test case for each use case. Here we have the sunny day for the connect to Chromecast, and we basically want to ensure that the user can successfully connect to a Chromecast device. So the user selects the Chromecast device button, and we expect the user to be connected, and actually the user was connected. Here we have the rainy day test case for the connect to Chromecast. Here we ensure that the user cannot connect to a device that is not a Chromecast, for example an Apple TV. So the user does the same process, except we expect that the user would, the system would have an error message saying that the device is not supported, and actually the device wasn't supported. Here we have the sunny day test case for the select campaign. Here we are interested in making sure that when a message is received, the receiver application handles it properly. So we actually simulated messages by providing stubbed messages and stub API responses, and the image slideshow was displayed, so the test passed. Here we have the rainy day for the select campaign use case. Essentially, we're looking into whether the receiver application, if it's not connected, will not receive any messages. So we make sure that the Chromecast device is disconnected. When the user tries to select the campaign, the system should disregard that message, and the message shouldn't be received, which passed. So here we have a short demo of the social wall system. As you can see, we have the Chromecast running on the screen. We have the social wall application on the iPad here, so I successfully logged in. I'm in the campaign list view now. I can click the Connect to Chromecast button on the top right hand of the screen. I can select the Chromecast device, and that should launch the Chromecast receiver application on the screen. And now I can select the campaign, and boom, there we go. The campaign is being, the images in that campaign are being viewed. I can select another campaign, and the images should be loading and should be being displayed. Here we go, being displayed on the screen. As you can see, it's in a slideshow format. So if I press the pause button at the bottom, it should pause the slideshow. And when I press the play button again, it should play and the images should scroll on the screen again. So that's it for the social wall demo, and that's it for the introductory video. Thank you very much for watching.